5 days after the typhoon tragedy in the Philippines, 5 days of anxious waiting for Bay Area families.
I don't know if my relatives are alive or if they're safe.
A vigil starting right now in San Jose. We will take you there live.
This is the Bay Area's news station. Cron 4 News at 6 starts now.
Food and water finally reaching some of the desperate typhoon survivors in the Philippines. In some coastal towns, almost every building has been flattened. 500,000 people living in shelters, 2.5 million needing to be fed. We have team coverage tonight. We begin with Crown 4's Grant Lotus. He's here in the studio with the latest on the typhoon devastation. Grant.
Yeah, Pam, the official death toll up to more than 2,300, but that is expected to rise. And you have a lot of hungry hands desperate for food. The food, the water, and other badly needed supplies are finally arriving, but they're in places like Manila, big cities, and distributing them is now the biggest challenge. They just need more trucks. The mayor of the hardest hit Tacloban city is telling his residents to get out because officials are having trouble getting them the necessities, and the looting is hard to control. 8 looters were killed when they were crushed while trying to get rice at a government warehouse. That caused a wall to collapse on them. It's been 5 long days since the historic typhoon pummeled the Philippines. Hundreds of bodies still lying on the streets, creating a stench described as horrifying. Here now, a mother and her young kids who just got out of Tacloban City.
It's a relief, quite honestly. It's very relieving to be out of Tacloban City.
Tell me, what have you seen?
I've seen dead people on the streets and the sidewalks.
Me too.
And how did that make you feel?
It made me feel scared.
Me too.
And what did it smell like? Can you tell me about that?
It smells like dead rats.
Tell me about what happened when the storm hit on Friday.
Everyone kept on stealing from stores, and they kept on stealing food and furniture, like something like that. Then some of the houses were just destroyed, and some no more now. Just no more.
The house is just no more. The Filipino consulate in San Francisco announced today a holy mass will take place this Friday night at 5 o'clock. And new efforts from prominent sports figures with Filipino roots. Star boxer Manny Pacquiao says he is dedicating his fight later this month to the victims. And Miami Heat head coach Eric Spoelstra issued a statement and a public service announcement pleading for help for the hardest hit areas. Pam.
And today, community organizers here in the Bay Area took part in the national launch of a disaster relief effort aimed at getting help across the Pacific to the victims of the typhoon. Organizers talked to Crown 4's Hazik Marion about the joint effort taking place.
Our phones have been ringing off the hook, but it's a good kind of busy.
Volunteers are busy here at NAVCON, the National Alliance for Filipino Concerns in San Francisco. Here, community organizers, civic and religious leaders have come together to launch Task Force Haiyan, a bridge between grassroots disaster relief efforts here in the U.S., connecting with community-based organizations in the Philippines, helping victims of the recent typhoon.
Grassroots organizations and people's organizations that know and these communities very well, and given the damage and extent here, are able to access some of these areas before the Philippine government, for the U.S. military that's already there.
San Francisco Supervisor John Avalos says City Hall will have a key role in the local disaster relief effort.
The city has a response. We can help the grassroots fundraising effort. We can make sure that the ties that we have in the Bay Area to the Philippines can be strengthened in this process.
Healthcare workers like Nina Sardinia are also stepping up, volunteering to help those needing urgent medical care.
We are going to be sending medical missions over to the Philippines as well, so we are urging our trained healthcare workers to volunteer for this mission.
In San Francisco, Hazik Marion, Crown 4 News.
And happening now, people are gathering in San Jose to remember the victims of the typhoon. Crown 4's Dan Kerman is live tonight outside Martin Luther King Jr. Library in San Jose, where a vigil is about to get underway. Dan.
That's right, Pam. This is scheduled to get underway about 6:15. As you can see, there are about a dozen people outside the library now gathering. As the minutes go by, more and more people show up. As you know, this organization that is sponsoring tonight's event is a youth organization. However, we're finding people of all ages attending this. Just a few minutes ago, we spoke with a woman who still has family back in the Philippines.
I have my sister, my aunt, and my cousin
Luckily, everybody is fine. We have just minimal damage back home in Cebu, but I feel pain for other people who lost their loved ones.
And we're back live in San Jose. As I said, this vigil just getting underway. They're also going to be collecting donations here as part of the donation process. They're looking mostly for monetary donations, which they plan to ship over to grassroots organizations in the Philippines. They say that way it will do the most work and the best good for those in need. More coming up at 6:30. For now, reporting live in San Jose, Dan Kerman, KRON 4 News.
And remember, stay with KRON 4 for the very latest on the typhoon relief effort. We have a special section on our website, KRON4.com, with ways that you can help. You can also get the latest headlines on our free KRON 4 News app.